What's up guys, Matty Amendola here. Welcome back. If you're coming from part 1, where we cut most of a song with all things Universal Audio. Check. Today we're going to be finishing it up with the UAFX pedals.
Turn me up, turn your ears into eyes. Tune me up.
The first thing I noticed about all 3 of these pedals is I was able to get classic tones without any work whatsoever. They were there. They just sounded amazing at wherever the knobs were. As I started getting more into every knob on the pedal, I then started feeling like I was controlling a plugin. Like, it went from me just recreating classic tones to me really dialing in things with more detail, you know, than I think I've ever experienced with a guitar pedal before. That was a pretty good fucking endorsement, I think. Good. Right? I can't wait to mix this track and get these set up in the control room to use as outboard, which is something I do a lot with pedals. But today we're going to record guitars through all of them. Real quick, let me just give you a rundown of what we're going to be using. We've got the Golden Reverberator. In this thing, we've got 3 classic sounds, from a spring to a plate to the legendary 224. We have the Astra Modulation Machine. This thing's got everything from flange, chorus, phasing, tremolo, and a bunch of hidden gems inside as well. Last but not least, my favorite of the bunch, the Starlight Echo Station.
Hear me up.
Alright, so it's time to start laying some guitars down here on this track. We've got the train pulled up. And we're going to start off with the Starlight Echo Station. So right now I have a really short slap. It gives a depth and dimension that reverb would give, but it doesn't feel wet. As opposed to so that's what I'm kind of going for here. We're gonna go kind of nice and tight like that, get some power pop vibes on this. Let's hit it. For this other guitar on the right, let's go with something a little bit more thin. Let's go with the Soft Tube Vintage Amp Room and go directly to this AC30 and take that mic and pull it all the way out. So again, I love when you can play with these mics to tone shape. Gonna mess with the Starlight just a little bit. That's cool. I kind of got the Starlight slapping in time, you know, different subdivision than what I'm playing. I like that. Let's double this track. Okay, so I want these two guitars to be relatively telephone-like. So let's put a quick EQ on these. All right, so on this first guitar on the left, I'm rolling off everything below 160, and then I'm adding 3K with the Neve 1073. I'm going to do the same thing here on the other guy, except we're going to boost 4K. And this should help the spread. We're also going to low cut this guy as well. Alright, so for this next guy here, we're going through the Fender Tweed, which is in the unison slot. And this is where I'm looking for that classic spring sound here on the golden reverberator. Bring the modulation down a bit. Yeah, it's getting somewhere. Let's add a little bit more decay. We also have these toggle switches that allow us to change the variation. So let's see what those sound like. Here's A, brighter, B, smoother, C. Ooh, a little bit more ambient. I kind of like the first one. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Let's bring the mix up. Yeah. Cool. Real sophisticated, these parts.
Turn me up, turn your ears into eyes. Tune me up, so you can see where
Alright, so we got some spots I want to fill in with this 12-string, and this time we've got the Astra Modulation Machine giving us that classic tremolo. We also have a little golden reverberator on there with the small Hall 224. Let's put it in.
turn me up, just enough to the store. Turn me on, drop the needle down, fill me up.
All right, lead guitar time. We are going through a Marshall Plexi in the unison slot. I tinkered around with the mics here, and when I was messing around with these pedals, I kind of came across a lead sound that I really liked. So what I actually did was store them. So this is something really cool built into all these pedals, the fact that, you know, you can store one preset and then switch between two different sounds. So if I just hit this preset button, we go into green mode, which is now preset mode versus live mode. So that's what we have going on there. So real quick, even though the knobs don't correlate with what we're hearing, I did take some photos, which I'll show you guys now. So yeah, let's cut some lead guitar. Okay, so now that I'm all excited and want to make some more noise, one of my favorite things in the world to do with vintage Space Echoes is just get them to repeat and kind of fold into themselves and feedback. And I love when that's accessible to me and I can kind of just make noise with it and then later on edit it and maybe make transitions and stuff. Let's just try a few real quick with me making noise. And if something cool comes of it, it'll be a cool transitional effect. Okay, so something like that. However, I want to make sure that when I cut this guy off that we get a cool like spring splash from the golden reverberator here. Almost. Like that. Okay, let's do it. That's how we do it. All right, so this guy now. Oh yeah. Okay. It would be very unlike me not to start, putting other instruments through these pedals. I have my old, it's actually my dad's Oberheim DX drum sampler here, and we're going through the golden reverberator. Really big plate. Check this out. Oh. Yes, without this, right? That's doing a lot. I also copied and pasted some of this space noise. It's working really well as a transition. Let's get these claps in on the guitar solo. Here we are. Cool, so love that. Let's get that in the mix. So on our stereo out this entire time, all we've had on is a precision limiter just to make sure we weren't clipping while we were recording all this. However, just to kind of give this last listen through for the night some meat and potatoes, let's throw on the amazing Neve summing extension right here. And maybe just listen to a bit of this solo. I'll flip it on and off so you can hear, man, what this thing does. These extensions are so much more than just putting on a plugin. This is why they're calling Luna a recording system, because when these are, building up in your track and you're summing through them, it is truly something special. So yeah, I'll flip it on and off, and then we'll listen to where we got tonight, with this track, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time for the mix. It's pretty amazing the amount of depth and just how much more of a record it sounds like just going through that extension right there. So yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I've been a long-time Universal Audio endorser, fan. This was a treat for me to do. I'm really happy that Luna is becoming what it is. Here's where we left the night off.